Alright, you guys, I got a little backyard video here on this is installing a bulletproof diesel oil to air cooler for my truck's an 04 6.0 liter Power Stroke. This one fits the 2003 to 2000 series, 2007 F series. This is the kit that keeps the stock oil filter, so it's not the relocated oil filter. So this video is just some tips for the general shade tree mechanic. As you can tell, this ain't for you boys that are throwing $40,000 into these 20-year-old trucks. Just a couple things that I've observed as I was going through. As you can see, I've got my AC condenser here still in the truck. It says in the kit you have to remove it to be able to install. Well, if you're cheap like me and you're working under a shade tree, you don't want to pay the extra $100 for some Freon to recharge your AC system. You don't want to have to vacuum down and all that good jazz. So I'm just kind of making this video to show you boys what I did. First thing I did was I took the front bumper off, which is super simple. You've got 2 bolts to go here, 2 bolts to go there. There's a bolt here and a bolt that goes there. That clips on the ground right there. So just so you see here, these are the inside bolts. They go into these brackets, and then your front bolts will be through these holes right here, right by your toe mount. So it's 6 bolts, bumpers off. So you got your 6 bolts you pull out, unhook your fog lights, 2 clips, bumpers off. And then to get your header panel off for your headlights and all that jazz, 6 more bolts, 8 bolts. So it'd be looking down from here, but you'll see 2 bolts here. Take them 2 bolts out, 2 bolts here. To get to those 2 outer bolts, you have to take out these 2. I think it's like a 5.5 millimeter screw, hex head screw. But what I did was I used a 6. So they go in up there either way. So you take those out, and then you can pop this out from the header, unhook your bulbs, and that lets you get to these 2 outer bolts. So you take all 8 of those off, unhook your headlights, your clips, put your headlight in your assembly and your header panel, bring it out here, set it on the ground. That exposes the whole front end of your truck. It's one extra process as compared to vacuuming down your system, pulling out all the oil and your refrigerant, and then keeping it clean, keeping the humidity out. I'm in Missouri. It's freaking 85 degrees and humid it alls get. It rained this morning, so humidity's in the air. You don't want that in your system. It'll mess up your dryer, mess up more than what you want to do. I mean, when you take it apart, you got to replace all the O-rings anyway. You need to replace Schrader valves. You need to replace components that I just don't want to throw money at. So there's a little tip for you on how you can do that with it in the truck. As you see, I had to relocate the transmission cooler because mine has the 17-inch transmission cooler, not the 14. So you have these brackets here that you have to drill the rivets out on the stock brackets. Drill them rivets out on the stock brackets, and you end up dropping it 2.5 inches down. So you drill those out, and then you got to take your bottom and you got to cut 2.5 inches off the bottom mount. So that would have been down there. So you cut your bottom mount off, drill you a hole to relocate your bolt, your mount. What I did with these rubber mounts, they're a solid piece, but it's got a metal sleeve, and it's a split bushing. So that mount, it sits down in between, say, my two fingers are the bushings, right? So the mount sits down between my two fingers, the bushing. So I just cut around to the outer edge, the farther edge, I cut that rubber piece off, drilled the hole slightly larger so the metal sleeve would slide through. So the metal sleeve is in there with the rubber piece on the back side, and then just put this rubber piece on the outside, mounted it up. Kept me from having to make a slot like the original mount is. Okay, so that dropped my transmission oil cooler, dropped it down the 2.5 inches that was needed. Now, to mount my oil to air cooler, you get it all set up just like it says. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my son come out here and help me, but he's going to hold the condenser out away from the truck a ways, just enough that I can mount this on there where it needs to be. So you mount this edge flush with the top edge of your cooler, and then you take screws and they go in these holes in the back. So there's mounting holes. So they go in there with these screw caps, cap head screws, and a little spacer between the condenser and the cooler. So that's a little trick for you guys on how to get away with doing this without having to back down the system and mess with your coolant, refrigerant, and all that. And you can still get to your transmission cooler to be able to drop it down and do all the work you need. My power steering cooler is right here. I took it and I just dropped it down out of the way. It'll bolt back up right there, but I just took it loose, dropped it out of the way. That way I had room to do everything I needed to do with the transmission cooler. Another tip for y'all is, you can see all these bugs. That's clogging up airflow. You can see this side here, I've already cleaned it off a bit. What you do is you take a wire brush and then just gently go down the fins. You don't want to get aggressive with it, but you just kind of work it back and forth, and you'll get most of them bugs and crap out of there, and that'll clean you up. And your AC will be more effectively working because it's not blocked off by all these little bugs. So I'm going to get them all brushed out with the wire brush gently. You don't want to get too aggressive, poking holes and stuff. You never know. Just like when you're hanging this up, I got a piece of copper cord up there holding that up. Don't jerk on it. Don't jerk it up there and be jerking it all around. Just be gentle with it and watch your lines because they got flexes. So these are hard lines that come in. There's your hard line. Well, they attach into these flexible hoses. So you have movement. There is a bit of movement that you can twist it around on her. So that's how I did that without backing down the system. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward for getting the oil cooler mounting in. I don't have my bolts tightened out for the intake yet here, but you have to get it down to where you take the intake out. You got to get your wiring harness all pulled back out of the way. See, I don't have it completely unattached either. I've got everything on the top of the motor unhooked and then just pulled back this way far enough to where I can get to it. So you have to take your wiring harness apart, you take your oil filter tower off with the fuel filter bracket, you get that all taken off, take your intake out. The biggest problem with why you have to take the turbo off is that tab right there. That tab mounts down to your EGR cooler, which if yours is already, if you have one of the delete kits with a J tube on it, just go ahead and you can take that fucking bracket and cut it off, and you'll never have to take your turbo out again to be able to do a job on the front side for your oil cooler and things like that. Mine has got bung plugs, so it's plugged off on both ends of the EGR cooler, so it's deleted, but it looks like it's there for EPA reasons or whatever. Technically, we're just gonna say it is not. Maybe not. But you know, once you've gotten down that far, it's pretty simple. You remount with new gaskets on there, remount your tower, just get everything put back together. Take your time, don't drop anything in your intake whenever you're open, because you know it happens. Stuff gets dropped down in there. Always make sure to flash the light down in there and take a look, and make sure you haven't dropped a random bolt or an acorn fell out of the tree or something happened just down in there and starts wearing on your valve train. Other than that, you know, it was a pretty simple job. I just kind of wanted to make this little video here to show that it can be done without having to take the condenser completely off the truck. I've done this job before, put in the coolant filter, you know, filtration system in the truck. Didn't last, I don't even know how long, maybe a month. I had a PPE heavy duty cooler in it. Maybe I didn't do enough flushes, maybe not, I don't know. Don't want to do this job again. It cost me close to $500 the first time I did it, so I just bit the bullet, bought the upgraded system. I will never have to worry about an oil cooler again. I bought the kit that has the thermostat here for cold weather, so it allows the oil to reach temperature in the vehicle before it comes to the cooler, so you don't have to worry about in the winter time your truck running cold. Yeah, but either way, you know, you got any questions, just holler at me. We'll see if we can work through it, and hope you guys have a great day. Stay blessed. Don't take every day for granted, boys, because you don't know how many you got. Life is way shorter than any of us ever know. So have a wonderful day. Leave me a comment if you need any help.